Good morning, traders. Venderman here with FuturestraderElite with your first NQ pre-market prep live. I appreciate you guys tuning in. We're going to jump right into this chart here and see if we can find some levels on NQ today. I took the drawings off to start because if we look at this higher time frame, we're on the 1 hour, and what we're seeing here is this big old drop that we had last week, or whenever that was, end of November. This has been a pretty strong drive up, but I keep talking about this zone right here, head and shoulders. We are currently at 772 or 770. I kept talking about all this resistance that we was going to have in this whole area, and it's really been struggling. You can see we had this wick out right here, and it kind of got into this area back here, and it got sucked down pretty good, and we slowly have been trying to come back up right there. You know, they're gonna have to break. They're going to have to break like 900 is what we need. We need to get above 900. This is this whole area here. If we get above 900, whether it be today or one day this week, they get above 900, they're going for all-time highs. I couldn't imagine why they would not try. That's not that far away on NQ. You know, we could still see some resistance in there even if we get above 900. But you see we got all this right here, long wick, hard rejection. Let's see if we can blow this up a little bit. Long wick, we get up to the 265 area, and we got this here. Let's, you know what, we're going to throw us a line here. Let's grab us a line. Well, you know, we're not going to throw a line on yet. I need to put the drawing tools back, our objects back on here. There may be a line there already, but this is pretty solid rejection right here. Triple top. You know, we get to the 265 area. Let's say we drive up to that area. It could reject right there, and let's say the market wants to go into a downward bearish trend and never put in a newer high. I mean, it's a possibility. So, you know, once we get past 900, this little area in here, we should be able to easily, I would think, get back in up into this area. But we're going to start finding some resistance around 175, then 218 or 220, and then 275. This whole little area right here. So it's something to be thinking about on the higher time frame, on the 1 hour, as we start building up here. Now, question is what are they going to try to do today? You see we got the golden pivot at 727. We got an R1 pivot at 875, which is up in that 900 area. So something to think about is, let's say they open this market up today and drive this towards that R1 pivot. We know that 900, that whole number, is going to be a key level for us to get above, close above, find some buyers, and continue upward. And since that pivot is about 15 points away, you need to think, don't get faked out and they sweep that pivot 15 points just to tag that whole number and then tank it right there. So you got to be careful with that play. I'd be careful with a first reaction R1 pivot play, depending on how the market was reacting today. If we do go up, you're going to have to be able to read the market and the momentum and everything else, and make your own decision there. You know, would that be a good idea there to play that area, or wait and see if it sweeps and hits that 900 area? Really depends. A lot of it depends on the speed that it takes to get there. let's put these drawings back on and see what we look like. Get back over here and look at this one area we was talking about. We got a line there, but it's a little off. We was talking 265 area. We got a red line up at 285, so I'm gonna leave that line there. 265, 285 to the top. We need to get there, see how it reacts there if we're gonna get a downward push. We all know on NQ it could get there today, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens when the market opens. Now let's take us down here to the let's go to the 15-minute. Oh man, I moved my line. Oh well. Excuse me. So looking at this on the 15-minute, of course we got our pivot plays, and look at this range that we have in this high over here about let's just call it 870, and this low here of let's call 578, several hundred points there. You know, this is a range that I'll be looking at even though we're between these trend lines. And look at we got the R1 pivot at the top of that range and the S1 pivot at the bottom and the golden pivot in the middle. So these are all, everything in this range right here is what I'll be paying close attention to today for sure. We're above the golden pivot, we're above this green trend line, so in a manner of speaking, we should be feeling kind of bullish. It's just it's been real crazy, the market. I mean, look at these big swings trying to work our way back up. I mean, you got to be careful. You know, if we can get us a pullback, sweep this trend line, tag that pivot, would be an ideal situation since it's just below that trend line. Then we got, that's a 727 and this pivot's 5.8. That's a long ways away between these two pivots, but you have a whole lot going on right here in this consolidation of these whipping around right here, where you could be thinking this green line, it's at 675. You know, I have some precision entry zones drawn on the chart posted in the Discord before the market opens, but that's a ways out, so we need to see what the market's going to do before then before we can really gauge anything when it comes to the precision entry stuff. So we're still looking good though as far as the upward trend. I mean, they switched it structure wise, and let's jump back to that 1 hour, see if what we got to worry about to the downside maybe structure wise. So right now, kind of the line in the sand to the downside is we really need to stay above. Ideally, we need to stay above 400 to the downside. If we can stay above 400, we're looking good. And the reason I say that, you know, we're up here at 786, and when you look at this down move and we had that hard drop right here, come down there, had this hard drop down here, and we're working our way up. You got this bounce here, this bounce tried to get back up there, then we had this drive here before we had some rejection right here, consolidated before another push. This whole area right here is now our support. So if this wants to pull back, we need to stay above 400. most definitely. We got a yellow line on the chart down here, which was a previous all-time highs at 394, 5. So yeah, we'd be in good shape. We stay here, right here where the zone box is, which is, no, that's, well, maybe we need to worry about that zone box is 338 to 368. And I still would want to stay at 400 or above, and if they do a pullback somewhere down the road, it's a good possibility that they would sweep 400 just for the liquidity sweep. I'm sure there's people down there and they would try to hunt them out and take their money. That's how the market does it. But you can't really predict. You need to wait for the reaction. Let the trade come to you. See what the market's doing. To the upside, we're going to be today anyway. If we can get above, we need to get above 830, and then that previous all-time high is 853, and then that R1 pivot. There's going to be some, if we go to the upside, there's going to be some plays here. Now, we need to get above that R1 pivot really to be looking real good. Now, let's say that they held this down until the market opens today, and as soon as the market opened, we're down here at 781 right now, and that's at 8 sets, almost 100 points to the R1 pivot. Like if it was down in the area it is now, and they open the market up at 930, and this candle just goes straight for that R1 pivot, to me that'd be first reaction short all day long. Now if it gets up there really slow and it's up and retrace and then up and then retrace back down and then up, and ATR is low and it gets pretty close to that area, that kind of cancels that out. This over here, like on this candle where that wick went up here, that'd have been a really nice play if that's where the R1 pivot was, which it was not there that day. But just to say it was, if you had your order set 1 or 2 right there front loading on that pivot, and then you got that wick out and sucked right back down, I'm sure it happened pretty fast, more than likely. That's the kind of first reaction plays you want. And you just follow with your stop tight on the other side. You want a first reaction play is supposed to react right now, not later. You want it to pick your order up and go the other way or be out. That's all there is to it. There's no sense in playing first reaction play and putting a stop 15, 20 points up here, because that's not how first reaction plays are played out. So I'm getting off topic, so I'm going to leave that alone. Structure-wise, looking pretty good. I appreciate everybody tuning in for our first pre-market prep this morning. I'm going to try to do these every day from here on out. And if anybody has any questions, y'all can throw them in chat, or but we're going to try to keep this solely about structure and levels that we're looking at, and not talk too much about entries and anything else like that. I know sometimes I can't help myself when I'm breaking levels down and everything else. That way y'all can kind of see what I see is what I'm trying to do. And then we'll leave it at that. I'll see you guys in the live updates channel on Discord. Like I said, I'll update that right before the market opens with some precision entry zones. And everybody stay green, stay sharp, trade safe, let the market come to you. Don't be out there chasing. If the trade's not there, don't force it. Just don't take the trade. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great trading day.